Okay, hello everybody. Hi. Hello. Welcome in. This is Thursday, right? I hope I have the right date. Good evening, Kaya. Hello. Hello. I did do a live earlier this morning where we went through the sandwich case. So there was that. I'll have that posted up pretty soon. But I wanted to come back and do another piece of this press conference speech that has been transcribed because it's just so fun. So I thought, well, let's go through it. Oh my gosh. So I've got this one, but I tell you what, I have a couple more after this one. I have the bank one, right? I have several. So I'm very excited. And also this Laura Loomer person, I think she's not quite. This is bananas, basically, the Laura Loomer situation. Bananas. So I have that. I'm not sure about the voices tonight, everybody. But we'll see. I have to kind of gauge and see how things go. Oh my gosh. Yeah, the Bill Meyer. So here's the other thing too, though. I have this amazing text of remarks made at the National Peace Officers Memorial Service, which I would say is one of the top 5 worst speeches ever. Just from a professional perspective. They really are. Well, they really are. So it's very interesting stuff. So I had we can finish up the press conference, or I think they're all golden, or we could move and do the police one tonight. What are we thinking? I'm sure you kept it super professional. No, probably not. But we might as well all use it as a learning tool. Am I right? Am I right? Right. Hello. Welcome in. Hi, Katie. Hello. And it is Thursday again. I have a little note to myself, making sure I remind myself that it's Thursday, so I don't get too tangled up. Hello. Hi, Noel. Well, I tell you what, I think we'll just go ahead and finish up our press conference because I know we're all waiting on pins and needles to see how it ends. Oh, my goodness gracious, everyone. Today and tomorrow off. Oh, nice. Oh, yeah. I think we definitely, everybody, need to start making sure we're taking a lot of breaks these days. A lot of breaks. Which is one of the reasons, too, why I have not been coming on too much with the heavy-hitting legal stuff at the moment. First of all, I don't think it's necessary. Things aren't really too crazy at the moment. But also, we all need a break. We all need to have a break from it. Exactly. So everybody sure needs to just take a break, trying to find some humor in the world. That's what my goal is right now. Hello, Mary May. Hello. And quite frankly, it's adorable. And I think it's very fun. Hello, Keisha. Oh, good to see you. It's always good to see you. Your lives are just so interesting. Everybody, if you're not following Dr. Keisha Davis, MD, go follow her. She's so amazing and intelligent, and we just love that for us. So she does great work. So go follow her if you're not. You probably all are already, but what? All right, hold on here, everyone. I have a, hold on here. I have a wardrobe malfunction. Just one moment, please. One moment. Do. I could be able to do the sounds, but okay, hold on here. Oh my gosh, I had a wardrobe malfunction and almost just went live. Oh my gosh. All right, so here we go. Let's get it taken care of here. Hopefully nobody noticed. I won't say what it was, so hopefully nobody noticed. Whew. All right. Just a minute. The horror, I know, right? Hello, girl in her brushes. Welcome. Hi, it's good to see you. She is amazing. Oh my gosh. I tell you, Boxer Mom too. Just amazing. You can meet some of the coolest people for sure on this app. I mean, there's also some crazies out there, don't get me wrong, but that's just life. Life and crazies, they go together. Peanut butter and jelly, right? Oh, you're so sweet, Ollie. That's so sweet. Hold on, I'm still working on my wardrobe malfunction here, everybody. Oh my gosh. I usually have something planned in case this happens, but today I'm just being lazy, so I don't have exactly what I need here. All right, well, hold on. I'm getting there. Yikes. Yes, definitely. One of my nails is missing. I know. Panic, everybody. Where's the SWAT team? Help. So that, which is fine, because I just have to put another one on real quick. Sounds like surgery. That's right. We need more blood transfusion stuff. I can't even say the names. I don't even know that much. All right, here I'm off in the corner, everyone, fixing my nail. Just a minute. Right. Yeah, sometimes got a Band-Aid. That works too. Oh, I know, Deb. Good call. And I do use those. I have some other gloves and stuff too that I can use. But honestly, it's pretty rare that my nails don't do their job. So, right. Again, Subway. Man, I tell you, that Subway situation, wow, it is escalating quickly. Seriously. It's just so fascinating. Okay, there we go, everyone. I fixed it. It's a little different, but it still matches, right? I usually have an extra set of nails when I'm going live so that if something does happen, I can just pull out an extra one for sure. I'm out of the loop about Subway. Yeah, so there's a dude that threw a Subway sandwich at one of the popos in DC, and they have charged him with assault. So he's got a full assault now as a charge. We went through that earlier today, and we're like, all right, sure, let's do this now. Let's do this, because, nothing matters. But it's been fun. Oh, yeah. Works at the DOJ. Really? That's interesting. All right. Well, here we go. Emergency diverted. Let's just make sure we're all okay. Are we all okay? Yes. Anyway, so yesterday, everybody, I had started reading through the transcript for... Oh, the cats. All right. There we go. The transcript for the press conference Mr. Orange did on August 11th. So we're reading through here. This has to do with the DC situation where the military deployment is going on, and it was just really interesting. So I thought let's go take a look at that. I do have that one too, though, Willie B. I do, because of course I do. Of course I have to have that. So that's on the list. That may probably will be tomorrow very soon. Start throwing sandwiches. Well, right. So, oh my gosh. I hope he's getting good representation. I mean, that's like ridiculous. Take that one to a jury. That's what I say. Don't waive your right to a jury in that case. So, we need mashed potatoes. Oh no, I don't know. That can cause some damage. My mom's mashed potatoes were so heavy. I mean, you could break somebody's bone. You gotta be careful about that. All right. So, yesterday I did start to read through the transcript. It was very interesting. He did have a couple of people on to explain what they were doing to the best of their own knowledge. And we just kind of went through and talked about, well, that's weird. So I'll catch all the sandwiches. Well, right now, man, we gotta stock up. We have to stock up. Oh, Where's the sandwiches? Oh my gosh, that's so funny. All right. All of the transcripts for his speeches are available online. I'm not sure. I've been kind of looking into this a piece where people were saying some of the words in some of his speeches have been redacted, and because, whatever. But I've yet to find that, but I think we probably will. So at some point. But I do want to pick up where we left off, everybody, yesterday with this one. There's not too much left to it, but it's still very worthwhile to go through. Who writes for him? That's a great question. We don't know. Right. Well, the coup's always a possibility, right? So if you wake up in the morning and you say, there's going to be a coup today, and then there's not, then at the end of the day, you're like, I guess not. And then you feel better about stuff. Am I the only one that does that? Oh, my goodness. So, right, when in D.C., again, as a quick side note, the person in charge of D.C., right, there's no governor. So the person that's in charge of that area, although they have city council and their own rules, is the president. So he's basically the governor of D.C. And so that's why he's able to even do this stuff, because he can't do it anywhere else. And, maybe some of those red state governors will be like, sure, come on in, take stuff over. But I'm not sure how that will go leading up to it. Well, we certainly have a lot of actions that are troubling for sure. Used to help write speeches. Really? Stephen Miller's brother. Okay. Stephen Miller, that guy's really busy. He's really busy. He's like making reports and leading groups of people down the road to unpleasantness. Exactly right, VC. That's right. Yeah, I'm not too concerned about a coup, only because, I have my own personal protection, which is my baseball bat. We'll keep going forward. So we shall see. Hello. You're busy with hate. That's the perfect way of saying it. So here we go. Let's dive on back in. Here's my sticky note. Hopefully this clarifies what we're doing here. I don't want to leave anybody in here that's not. Doom everything comments are harm. Well, right. There's a lot of doom and gloom. Does he call Pelosi during his press conference? All right. That's a good one. That's a really good one. All right, let's dive in. Here we go. So Mr. Orange, I changed the name because of the algorithm here. And they point to exactly where in the video that was taken of this, he's saying these things. All right, so we're starting right here at 49:03 and 49:25 here. All right, so if you want to fact check me or go listen to his intonations of how he's doing it, you can start right there. And yeah, we got to get some chuckles. I mean, Tiffany, we're desperate for chuckles. All right, here we go. I called up our people and we did a great job. Tom Homan was great. As you know, our secretary did a great job. They did a great job. There's no games. They didn't play games. And we're going to have the same thing here. But then I'm going to look at New York in a little while. Let's do this. Let's do this together. See, I think he definitely has some rage about New York. Because New York is really the one place where we've had any kind of accountability, right? Now, my voice will be a little bit grumbly tonight, but that's just how it is. I apologize ahead of time. All right, next up at 49:25 here. Let's see if it's going to go pretty quickly. And if we need to, we're going to do the same thing in Chicago, which is a disaster. He's after New York and he's after Chicago here. We have a mayor there who's totally incompetent. He's an incompetent man, and we have an incompetent governor there. Pritzker is an incompetent. All right. His family threw him out of the business, and he ran for governor, and now I understand he wants to be president. Oh, that's not very nice. Don't have to be rude about it. All right, next piece. I want to make sure that we're going in the right order here. All right, 35, 36. But I noticed he lost a little weight. Who says this during a press conference? All right. So maybe he has a chance. You never know what happens. But Pritzker is a gross, incompetent guy thrown out of the family business. But when I look at Chicago and I look at LA, if we didn't go to LA 3 months ago, LA would be burning like that part that didn't burn. Wait, what? LA would be burning like the part that didn't burn. I have to put a question mark there. I'm not sure what that means. If he would have allowed the water to come down, which I told him about in my first term, I said, you're going to have problems, let it come down. We actually sent in our military to have the water come down into LA. They still didn't want it to come down after the fires, but that was it. We have it coming down. But hopefully LA is watching. The mayor also, the city's burning. I thought Chicago was burning. All right. They lost like 25,000 homes. I went there the day after the fire. You were there, and I saw people standing in front of burned down home. It was their homes were incinerated. They weren't like, even the steel was literally, it was all warped and literally disintegrated because of the winds and the flame and the whole thing. It was like a blowtorch. They were standing on this beautiful day, maybe a couple of days after. We gave it a little time because what we had suffered, almost 25,000 homes, and you see what's happening now. They didn't give their permits. I went to a town hall meeting. I said, we're going to get you the permits, which are much harder almost immediately. I know. Yeah, all right, 36, 37. Lee Zeldin is a star. He did an incredible job. They have all of their federal permits. They don't have their city permits. And the mayor said to me, we think we can have them in 2 years. I was walking down the street and I met with firemen and police, and I was saying hello to many people that were standing in front of their homes with yellow tape. You can't go in. You can't go in onto the lot. And those people wanted to start rebuilding their homes then and there. And the mayor said we should be able to get them permits within 2 years. I said, that's a shame. 2 years? Are you kidding? I'm going to get them a federal permit like almost immediately, 2 years. And she threw it back. Well, maybe 1 year. The place was booing her out of the place. Oh, he does notice when people get booed. That's good. They don't have their permits to build their homes, and now they're talking about putting, this is among the most beautiful areas was in the country. Now they're talking about putting low-income housing there. Can you believe this? I love low-income housing. I made money with low-income housing. I built low-income housing. I know more about low-income housing and luxury housing. I know about everything real estate. They want to replace some of those homes with low-income housing. They haven't gotten their permits yet. We've gotten all the federal permits, which are much tougher to get, and it was done almost immediately through Lee Zeldin and Federal Environmental. This is suspect. Yeah, this is a little bit suspect here, this particular whole piece of this, where he just starts going into low housing. Like, that's suspicious. I know more, blah, blah. All right, 5233 was where that one was, if you want to check it out on the video. And here we go. And I watched the other day, those people are angry now, you know. They had tremendous, they love that area. They love that whole big area, different places, but they loved it. It was all luxury stuff and beautiful stuff. And some wasn't that luxury, but the level of love for that neighborhood, their neighborhoods, was incredible. This one I don't understand at all. I do not understand what he was saying at all. Well, right, VC, and him too. And you know what? I watched people on television. They want to go. They want to leave. They've lost their spirit. They've lost their heart because the mayor is an incompetent and Gavin Newsom is incompetent. You've got a good line of BS, but that's about it. He's incompetent. And you have Los Angeles is, you know, it's amazing. You know, I called, the first thing I did, I got the Olympics to go there. What? I was the one that got it. And by a rare thing that happened, I'll be the president. I was very upset because I got the Olympics and I said I won't be president when it comes. But bad things happened and illegal things happened. What? With like choosing where the Olympics are going to go? Lower house. Right. No, I don't think he does understand. Really illegal things happened. Now it turns out one good thing is I'm going to be the president for the Olympics in 2050. Wait, hold on. When are the Olympics? Wait a minute. Wait. I'm not good with math, but we're 2025 right now, right? So that's like in 25 years? 25 years? What? How many? I mean, what? That's like multiple. Right, 25 divided by 4, whatever that number is, that seems like a lot. 2028, yeah, I'm like, how long are you going to be here? Is there some kind of cryo frozen stuff going on? Yeah, exactly. The whole Olympic committee was like, oh, sure, we'll do whatever you want. Oh, my goodness. Yeah, okay, 2028, all right, well, whatever. All right, because I'm going to be president for the Olympics for 2050 or 250, which is going to be fantastic, and also the World Cup. So we have a lot of good things, and I hope 250th anniversary is going to be the best. It's going to be something. But when I looked at those people and I saw last night on television that they still don't have their permits, it's a disgrace what's happened in Los Angeles. You think we're going to see cash only bonds in this one, everyone? Maybe. We might. Mr. President, here's another question. Question, Mr. President. Oh, yeah, thank you. The China tariff deadline's tonight. Do you plan to extend that? They're not beating around the bush here, and I love that. We'll see what happens. We've been dealing very nicely with China, as you probably have heard. They have tremendous tariffs that they're paying to the United States of America, and we'll see what happens. They've been dealing quite nicely. The relationship is very good with President Xi and myself. And then he says, please, and then we have a question. Mr. President, you mentioned your upcoming meeting with President Putin. Yes. Can you tell us what you hope to get out of that and whether you consider inviting President Zelensky to join? So you have to understand, this is a war that should have never happened. This is a war that wouldn't have happened if I were president. It would have never happened. It wasn't. It was the apple of his eye. I got along very well with President Putin. But if you look under President Bush, they took a lot of territory. Oh my gosh, is he defending Russia? Hold on a minute here. But if you look under President Bush, they took a lot of territory. All right. I'm assuming they is Russia, maybe? I'm not sure. That's a bit mixed up. Under President Obama, they took a lot of territory. Under Biden, they essentially took the whole thing. You know, it's just a question of time. Under Trump, you know what they took. Nothing. I was the one that said you can't build your pipeline that was half built. I came in, I stopped the pipeline. It's called Nord Stream 2. Nobody knows that, you know. Nobody ever heard of Nord Stream 2. You might have not heard of it. Biggest pipeline in the world. I stopped it. I was not a friend to Russia, but I got along well with Putin. It was always good to get along with other countries if possible, but that doesn't mean you roll over like Biden did. I'm wondering then if that's important to him. I think I'm turned here a little bit. There we go. Then, you know, why not be friendly to the states too? That's by the questions. Like, you treat foreign countries better than your own people, is, you know, a thought to have there. Hopefully I'm not crooked here, and I mean my transcript. There we go. Biden came in and he immediately approved the pipeline. I couldn't believe it. Then they say Trump wasn't tough on Russia. I wasn't tough. I was the toughest. Putin said, if you're not tough, I would hate like hell to see you. I stopped the biggest economic development job, the biggest job that Russia had ever built. I stopped it. It was unalive. Again, I'm not sure what all that means. And this low IQ president came in. What? Where'd that come from? And he let them build the pipeline and supply oil and gas all over Europe. So this is really a feel out meeting a little bit. And President Putin invited me to get involved. He wants to get involved. I believe he wants to get it over with. Now, I've said that a few times and I've been disappointed because I'd have like a great call with him, and then missiles would be lobbed into Kiev or some other place, and you'd have 60 people laying on the road unaliving. That seems very specific here. My goodness. Yeah. I said, that's cold. That's cold. But it's a violent war. 5,000 to 7,000 people a week are unaliving. And there's nobody from here. They're all Russian and Ukrainian people and some people from the cities, much smaller. But still, those missiles do damage and they unalive a lot of people, but mostly soldiers, and they're young soldiers. Although in the case of Ukraine, they're getting much older. They're drafting 60-year-olds now. It's a terrible thing to witness, and I think I have an obligation. Look, this is a Joe Biden's war. This is not my war. I made a deal with NATO a month ago. You covered it very accurately, actually, where we don't pay anything anymore. We're not paying anything. They are buying things from us, and NATO is paying us. I got it raised from 2% of GDP to 5%. And they're paying us for everything that we send. We're not paying, but Biden approved $350 billion. Europe has spent $100 billion. The money that's been spent and the unalive is incredible. I don't know. Nobody's saying Monica. I can't figure it out either. Here's another question mark. What? All right. It's the worst thing that's happened, by far the worst that's happened since World War II. Ooh, I'm not sure about that. Interesting. So I'm going to speak to Vladimir Putin, and I'm going to be telling him, you got to end this war. You got to end it. And he wasn't going to mess with me. This war would have never happened. We had a discussion about it one time, and we never had the discussion again. Would have never happened. And when the election was rigged, and then Biden took office, which was barely took office, the auto pen took office. Oh my gosh, the auto pen. No. Bad things started happening. Bad things, stupid things were said. And it ended up in a war. And and I don't believe this will happen anymore because I have that pretty well covered. So the auto pen started the war? I'm just trying to make sense of it. All right, the auto pen was what was taking office. Oh my gosh. All right. This could end up in a third world war. This could have been a third world war. I don't think that's going to happen now. Oh, that's comforting, right? But I thought it was very respectful that the president of Russia is coming to our country as opposed to us going to his country or even a third party place. But I think we'll have constructive conversations. Then after the meeting, immediately, maybe as I'm flying out, maybe as I'm leaving the room, I'll be calling the European leaders who I get along with very well. So it's like he's not like, keep that to yourself, man. I mean, whatever. And, I have great relationships, I think, with all of them. And I get along with Zelensky, but, I disagree with what he's done. Is that because he wasn't wearing a suit? Very, very severely disagree. This is a new standard, everybody. Very, very severely. Oh my gosh. This is a war that should have never happened. Wouldn't have happened. But I'm speaking to Zelensky. The next meeting will be with Zelensky and Putin, or Zelensky and Putin and me. I'll be there if they need. They don't need. But I want to have a meeting set up between the two leaders. He couldn't even wear a tan suit. Oh my gosh. All right. Again, just letting you know where I'm at in the transcript. This is 5909 here. I was a little bothered by the fact that Zelensky was saying, well, I have to get constitutional approval. I mean, he's got approval to go into war and unalive everybody, but he needs approval to do a land swap because there'll be some land swapping going on. I know that through Russia and through conversations with everybody, to the good, for the good of Ukraine. Good stuff, not bad stuff, but also some bad stuff for both. What? Go through that one again. Good stuff, not bad stuff. Also some bad stuff, or both. So there's good and there's bad, but it's very complex because you have lines that are very uneven, and there'll be some swapping. There'll be some changes in land, and the word that they will use is, they make changes. We're going to change the lines, the battle lines. What? He's going to do what now? Was he going to say, and the word that they will use is, they will make changes. I thought he was going to say a Russian word, but yeah, it makes no sense. I'm glad it's not just me. All right, now we're at 59:52 again in the video, if you'd like to watch that. Russia's occupied a big portion of Ukraine. They've occupied some very prime territory. We're going to try and get some of that territory back for Ukraine. He just says everything out in the public, everyone. Oh my gosh. But they've taken some very prime territory. They've taken largely ocean. In real estate, we call it oceanfront property. That's always the most valuable. Right. His real estate term, everybody. Oceanfront property. Keep that. Like a third grader. I don't know about that. Off topic. I love your voice. Oh, thanks. Oh, I appreciate that, Siren. It's a bit grumbly today. I've overused it a bit, but it's still good. Still good to go. All right. At 1 minute here. If you're on a lake, a river, or an ocean, it's always the best property. Well, Ukraine, a lot of people don't know that Ukraine was largely thousands of miles of ocean. That's gone. Other than one small area, Odessa. It's a small area. There's just a little bit of water left. So I'm going to go and see the parameters. Like, is he trying to buy real estate? I mean, this kind of feels like I'm going to go scope out the real estate and put a bid in on it. Kind of feels that way. Fellow grumbler. Grumblers unite. Woohoo. Oh, I know. So, I don't know. It sounds like he wants to go take a look at Odessa. I'm not sure now is the right time to just be going in and looking at beachfront properties, but that's just me. Oh my gosh, now I got the song in my head. All right, now I may leave and say good luck, and that'll be the end. I may say this is not going to be settled. I mean, there are those who believe that Putin wanted all of Ukraine. I mean, that's what he said, right? I happen to be one of them, by the way. I think if it weren't for me, he would not even be talking to anybody else right now. Okay. No. But I'm going to meet with him. We're going to see the parameters, what the parameters are in Ukraine. And then I'm going to call up President Zelensky and the European leaders. All right. Question, how soon? Tripp responds, right after the meeting, yeah. And I'm going to tell them what kind of a deal. I'm not going to make a deal. It's not up to me to make a deal. Okay, we got to highlight when he says something that's correct. Oh my gosh. I think a deal should be made for both. I think Russia has to get back into building their country. It's a massive country. I think they have 11 time zones. If you can believe it, it's massive. It's by far, from the standpoint of land, it's by far the largest. So he's very impressed with the size of Putin's land, all right? Oh my goodness gracious. They have tremendous potential in Russia to do well. They're not doing well. Their economy is not doing well right now because it's been very well disturbed by the war. It doesn't help when the president of the United States tells their largest or second largest oil buyer that we're putting a 50% tariff on you if you buy oil from Russia. Oh, who did that? I don't know. This has not been fact checked. This is just a straight up transcript. Next, that was a big blow. And then they say, gee, he doesn't want so tough. Nobody else would have done that, and I haven't stopped there. I mean, look, I was all set to do the things far bigger than that. But I got a call that they'd like to meet, and I'm going to see what they want to meet about. I'd like to see a ceasefire. So is he inviting himself to this meeting between Putin and Zelensky? I got a call that they'd like to meet. I'm not sure. I'm not sure. I'd like to see the best deal that could be made for both parties. You know, it takes two to tango, right? It's best if you get consent, though. You shouldn't tango without consent. So ultimately, I've had a meeting next week. I had a great relationship with him, considering the fact that, you know, I was not nice to him because of the pipeline. I ended the pipeline. I also gave the javelins, military stuff. Do you ever hear of a javelin? Javelin is called a tank buster. They say that Obama gave them sheets and I gave them javelins. If it wasn't for me, all those tanks that were destroyed in the first days of war, because the tanks got stuck in the mud, some commander made a better, you know, they would have been in Kiev in 4 hours going down the highway. Is he talking about military strategy here? I'm wondering. Like, I'm not sure you should be out there like, oh, here's what we've given them. I'm not sure. Right. All right, here we go. But a Russia general made a brilliant decision to go through the farmland instead. No. And they just had torrential rains, and the rains were so bad, and it was mud. And those tanks got stuck in the mud. I don't know who that general is, but knowing Vladimir, he's probably not around any longer. What? You just say that, you just say it, and then you move on to the next topic? Come on, man. Oh, my goodness. All right, let's just let's read this one again just to make sure that we got language right. All right. I don't know who that general is, but knowing Vladimir, he's probably not around any longer. You shouldn't be friends with someone where you say that. They did get stuck in the field. Well, right. Well, you know, that's just facts, right? Because of all those tanks were stuck in the mud and they went along with the javelins. Oh my gosh. All right, here we go. Keeping it going here. There's not too many pages left. We've still got some good stuff in here though. I know, right? Let's see. I gave them javelins. You know that, right? I gave them javelins and they gave them sheets. But I'm going to meet with President Putin, and we're going to see what he has in mind. And if it's a fair deal, I'll reveal it to the European Union leaders and to NATO leaders, and also President Zelensky. What role does Mr. Orange think he plays in the global community? Because I think he might think he's more special than he really is. JL Wood, yeah, if you want to point me to one of Kamala's speeches, I would be happy to read it. Absolutely ecstatic, because then I wouldn't have to check everything and wonder what she was saying. Next, I think out of respect, I'll call him first, and then I'll call them after. And I may say lots of luck. Keep fighting to Russia, or I may say we can make a deal. If not, I will tell you this. I've seen a poll coming out of Ukraine. 88% of the people would like to see a deal made. And if you go back 3 years, everybody was gung-ho for war. What? Everybody's gung-ho for war until you have it. It's an amazing thing. And I had it with a couple of countries where I couldn't get a deal done with one particular country, and I just couldn't. The guy's great. He's a friend of mine. Great, good leader, tough as hell. I couldn't get the deal done, and then he went into war for a short period of time. Do we know who this person is? This person that went to war? I'm wondering. I know. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Yeah, I'm not sure. Was it? Is that what we're thinking? Oh, could be, could be, could be. Yeah, imaginary friends. Here's my imaginary friend. All right, diving back in. You know where I'm talking about first term, and it was nasty. Guys being unalived all over the place. And he went through 1 week of war, and I was able to get the deal done. He said, "This is nasty. Yes, please." We'll just highlight that so we don't forget what page that's on. Oh, all right, all right. Could be. Yeah, could be. The voices in his head. Oh, that's true. All right, here we go. Question. Just to follow up on what you were saying there. First of all, Vladimir Zelensky is not invited on Friday. Voldemire. I'm sorry. I said his name so incorrectly. Mr. Zelensky is not invited on Friday. Try to undo the damage. Oh, all right, here we go. And then Mr. Orange, he wasn't a part of it. I would say he could go, but he's gone to a lot of meetings, and he's been there for 3.5 years. Nothing happened. Question, and what's the definition? I mean, do you want somebody that's been doing this for 3.5 years? What's the definition of a good deal? I'll tell you after I hear what the deal is. Question, well, I was going to ask you because there could be many definitions. You're talking about a very large and complex situation. I'll tell you the war that I just settled with Azerbaijan and with, as you know, and Armenia was almost as complex as this one, having to do with routes and trades. Right? Hold on, everybody. Am I skewed? Let me make sure I'm back here in the frame. I apologize. Ask Harvard program on the negotiations. Oh my gosh. Hey, Harvard, what do you think? All right. That was funny. Here we go. But what is a successful meeting on Friday with Vladimir? Mr. Orange. Well, we're going to have a meeting with Vladimir Putin. And at the end of that meeting, probably in the first 2 minutes, that's very specific, I'll know exactly whether or not a deal can be made. Question. How will you know that? Answer. Because that's what I do. I make deals. My gosh. Question. Mr. President, please go ahead. Yeah, thank you, Mr. President. I'm going to ask you 2 questions. One's about China, one's about Russia. Just like previewing it, if I could. On China, your administration agreed to send the most advanced these kinds of chips to obsolete, absolutely no. Question, obsolete chips. Well, and then 15% of you mean the 20s. No, this is an old chip that China already has. And I deal with Jensen, who's a great guy, and NVIDIA. The chip that we're talking about, the H20, it's an old chip. China already has it in a different form, different name, but they have it, or they have a combination of 2 that will make it for us, and even then some. I wonder if any of this stuff should be classified, but I don't know. This is why Signal was fine right here, because they just say it. Everybody. Now, Jensen's a very brilliant guy, and Jensen also has a new chip, the Blackwell. Do you know what the Blackwell is? The Blackwell is a super duper advanced. God help us all. I wouldn't make a deal with that, although it's possible I'd make a deal, somewhat enhanced in a negative way. Blackwell, in other words, take 30% to the 50% off of it, but that's the latest and greatest in the world. Oh, goodness, super duper. Nobody has it. They won't have it for 5 years. But the H20 is obsolete. It's one of those things, but it still has a market. So I said, listen, I want 20% if I'm going to approve this for you, for the country, for our country, for the US. I don't want it myself. Every time I say like 747, I want, yeah, for the Air Force. Goodness gracious. Super duper. Yeah, right. I know. Oh my gosh. Is he from the Midwest? Now hold up here. We don't always say super duper. Actually, that's not true. We do. That's a good point. Super duper. Oh my goodness gracious. Has more advanced tech than we. Yeah, I think that's absolutely something to think about here. All right, here we go. We're at 106. If you want to pull that up on the actual video, this is the transcription. So there you go. So I just want it. So when I say I want 20, I want for the country. I only care about the country. I don't care about myself. And he said, will you make it 15? So we negotiated a little deal. So he's selling a essentially old chip that Huawei has a similar chip, a chip that does the same thing. And I said, good. If I'm going to give it to you because they have a stopper, what we call a stopper, not allowed to do it, they restrict it. It's really known as a restrictive covenant. And I said, if I'm going to do that, oh my goodness gracious. Goodness gracious here, 59 or 51. Okay. I want you to pay us as a country something because I'm giving you release. I released them only from the H20s. Now on the Blackwell, I think he's coming to see me again about that. But that will be an unenhanced version of the big one. Like, I don't know if you know it, we will sometimes sell fighter jets to a country and we'll give them 20% less than we have. You know what I mean, right? Oh my gosh, everyone. I just don't think this information is meant to be casually spoken of in a conference. Excuse me. Right. It's questionable. All right, that's the same. Question, Mr. President. So on Russia, Mr. President, do you see a time, Mr. President, when there could be normal trade between the U.S. and Russia? Should your meeting go well? Should there be peace? Mr. Orange, I do, yeah. Russia has a very valuable piece of land if Vladimir Putin would go toward business instead of toward war. Interesting. It's a warring nation. That's what they do. What? They fight a lot of wars. A friend of mine said Russia's tough because they just keep on fighting. They beat this person, so did we. And they beat Napoleon. That's true. They've been doing this a long time. I asked a question to a very, very smart man that some people like and some people don't like. My little sticky's not sticking here. Viktor Orban, right from Hungary. Oh my goodness gracious. All right, let's back it up. Backing up the truck. We don't want to miss any of this. I asked a question to a very, very smart man that some people like and some people don't like. Viktor Orban, right, from Hungary, the head of Hungary. And he's in that same area and knows the two countries very well. I said, this was before Biden didn't do anything to get us out of it. He could have gotten us out of it. It would have never happened, I said. So Russia be beaten by Ukraine? He looked at me like, what a stupid question. He said, Russia is a massive country and they win their country and they win their life through wars. They fight wars. That's what they do, he said. China beat you with trade. Russia beats you with war. Is he just hanging out and talking to this fella? Are these guys like sitting down for tea here? What? Right. Oh, my goodness. That was a very interesting statement. China has not beaten us with trade. Not when I'm in charge, but they were beating Biden with trade. but they never beat us with trade. Don't forget, China had to pay $400 billion worth of tariffs when I was last time. That was last time. And if we didn't have COVID, all of this stuff we would be loaded. We're finding hundreds of billions of dollars of cash is pouring into our country now because of tariffs. I think there's a fundamental misunderstanding here, and all we're doing is we're doing what they do to us. It's so beautiful to see. They found out last month, as you saw, $25 billion of excess cash flow. They say, where did it come from? I said, I'll tell you where it came from. It came from a place called tariffs, and we're doing very well. We're really doing well, but I expect to have, oh my gosh, meetings with Putin that I think will be good, but it might be bad. And I'm here for one reason, to get rid of the war that somebody else started. Should have never happened. Is he saying Biden started the war? I'm curious. Trillions in tariffs, exactly. How many? Exactly. Right, the American. Well, exactly. Yeah, I mean that's not great. So, but again, I find this a bit worrisome. And I'm here for one reason, to get rid of a war that somebody else started. Should never happen. So I'm not sure. Perhaps he is casting the blame onto Biden. All right. And if I could end it, great. Complex. Sure. Perhaps he is casting the blame onto Biden. All right. And if I could end it, great. Complex. I'm going to put the two men in a room. I'll be there or I won't be there. And I think it will get solved. What? I'll be there. All right. Oh my gosh. Yeah, he's saying Biden started. Oh my goodness. All right. So if you put them in a room, now I will say this. Ultimately, I'm going to put the two of them in a room. I'll be there or I won't be there. And I think it will get solved. What? That's crazy town. Yeah, please. Question. Thank you, Mr. President. Excuse me, I'm going to suggest, because do you have any other questions on DC? Because I don't want them to be, wait. These are incredible people. I don't want them to be standing up here on subjects that, does anybody have a question of them? And then you guys can leave. So he does have a group of people behind him, if you go and look at the video here. Okay, a question. Brian, go ahead. Thank you, Mr. President. All right. Oh, come on, Brian. Let's have a good question. I'm holding on for the hope there. And by the way, this is only DC, and they're going to leave because it's unfair to have them stand up here all day. All right, question. I agree. I've got two questions for you. First, about DC. This is personal for me as well. Last year, I was robbed on the streets by one of the teenage thugs and had a GUN, got away with it. Let's talk about the effort between law enforcement, prosecutors, and judges, because it's a recycling belt that these kids go. They don't fear the police. They know it. If you talk about how we've got to get these judges and put these kids behind bars, Mr. Orange, right. Question, adult crimes deserve adult penalties. And my second question after you answer that, please. Janine Pirot, do you want me to answer it? Question, whoever wants to take it. Janine Pirot. Oh, come on, Janine. Please don't do what I think you're about to do, Janine. Please don't do that. Go ahead, says Mr. Orange. Here's the problem. Assuming that they're 17 years older than 17 years old, I can get the case. If they're under 18 years of age, I can only get the case if it's homicide, rob one, SA, even if they shoot a GUN and don't unalive you, I can't get it. So the law has to be changed, as the president said. Cashless bail. Oh, it's back again, everybody. This is number 7. Cashless bail, that has to be changed. All right, then even assuming I can get the case, I get jurisdiction, I get a conviction, the DC Council has given the judges the ability to give probation on shootings, and so then it's up to them. All of these things, the Youth Rehabilitation Incarceration Reduction Act, and now they want to steal records. What is she? Oh my gosh. So if we work hard, we get a conviction. They want to wipe it out. So that's what needs all to be changed. That's all. Question. Okay. Mr. Orange. Pam, would you answer that also? I'm not sure they're making a distinction between minors and adults. So I think that might be throwing them off. All right. Pam Bondi. Yeah, and just back to that topic. Let's be clear, though. We're going to charge them and we're going to track every single thing they do throughout every step of the court process and report back to you and let all of you know what's happening to them. Because the people who are prosecuting them, the judges who are trying them, they also need to be held accountable. Oh, my goodness gracious. Another question. Mr. President, you also made the comment. You made the comment inaudible. This is the most people we've ever seen in this briefing room. Mr. Orange, never. I've never seen question ever, right? Mr. Orange, I've never seen any. Where's Caroline? Where's my superstar? Caroline is Caroline in the back. Where is Caroline? Come here, Caroline. Come here, Caroline. Come here. Is she doing a great job, by the way? Come here, Caroline. Is this the largest crowd that you've ever seen? And then Caroline comes in and says, yes, this is definitely the most packed briefing, and I think all of you would agree. I think it's why we need to build a ballroom. Oh, no. No, not a ballroom. All right. If Caroline wants a ballroom, then we're going to kill her. Mr. President, I have a better idea. Good. All right, Brian, go ahead. Question. My question is, you're building the big, beautiful ballroom. Mr. Orange, yeah. Question. Could we build a big, beautiful briefing room? I mean, update technology, more seats? Mr. Orange, no, I don't want to do that. I don't want you to be too comfortable. I'm sorry. So no, I don't want to make life comfortable. So look. Let's just do this. Let's do this. It's going to be a big thing. We're going to Russia. That's going to be a big thing. What happens, happens. I'll let you know what happens. You'll be the first to know. I'll be calling the European leaders. I'm going with totally. I mean, we have lots of talks. They're great people. They're great leaders, actually. And they want to get back, honestly. As one of them said, I've OD'd on trying to settle Ukraine. They've OD'd, meaning they've overdosed on the settlement of Ukraine. Oh, I'm glad he could clarify that for everybody. Goodness gracious. Oh my gosh. I know. It's all Biden's fault. Somehow. Oh, all right. Come on, man. What's happening here? I think the page is too embarrassed to be turned over. That's all right. All right. Back in, and we're coming down here to the closing bits. Not a nice expression, but boy, is it accurate. They're tired of it. They want to go back to spending money on their countries, you know. Biden gave them $350 billion. Europe gave $100 billion. It should be much more than that. It shouldn't have been that kind of, they shouldn't have had equalization, but they didn't. But you know what? Still a lot of money. They want to get back to building their own countries. They really want it resolved. My relationship with European leaders, as you saw, is extremely good. Like, it's perfect. It's beautiful. Wait. And we're going to try. I'll be in touch with them. I have 5 of them call me. You think that it's easy? There are a lot of European leaders, but they rely on me, very much rely on me. If it wasn't for me, this thing would never get solved until the last person breathing is unalive. Question, would you talk to them before the meeting with President Putin? Answer from Mr. Orange. Yeah, I did. I'm talking to them right now. So I'm talking to the European leaders. I'll be talking to President Zelensky. I'm going to get everybody's ideas. I go into that thing fully loaded right up there, and we're going to see what happens. Now, I think 1 or 2 things is going to happen. It could be a good meeting, and we'll go a step further, and we'll get it done. Good Lord, help us all. Jesus, take the wheel. Here we go. I'd like to see a ceasefire very, very quickly, very quick. I'd like to see it immediately, but I'd like to see it very quickly. And we're going to be dealing with European leaders, and we're going to be dealing with President Zelensky. And hopefully we're going to have a great success. As far as this, what we did today, and I think you were here for DC, more so than even Russia, because Russia will be, we have a couple of days to go, but the Russians are going to be very interesting. But to me, what's very exciting, and we're going to take back our capital. All right, so I guess he's closing it together, apparently. I thought the conference was supposed to be about DC. But to me, it's very exciting. We're going to go take back our capital. We're going to make it beautiful again, but we're going to make it, more importantly, safe again. It's going to be so safe. It's going to be a model, and we'll look at other cities also. But other cities are studying what we're doing, and you have some capable people in other cities. They can do it too. But we have a great group of professionals. We're going to have a safe, beautiful capital, and it's going to happen very quickly. Thank you all. Thank you all very much. We'll see you guys tomorrow. We'll have another briefing. And pause. Oh, my goodness gracious. All right, everybody. What have we learned here? Oh, my gosh. The ballroom's going to be in the Capitol. Remember that from the Florida case, I don't have that at my fingertips, but the Florida case, that's where he likes to keep his, documents, right? So for your eyes only documents, or any kind of documents that are a high priority to be secret, that's where he likes to put them, right? All classified documents go to the ballroom. That's where they go. Right, is a clown. I don't know. See, I don't mind clowns. I'm not anti-clown. Learn to see spending American dollars on BS. Oh my goodness, yes. Oh my goodness. About deploying. Right. Can you put the paper? Oh my gosh, Kea, you just read my mind. That's crazy. I was just thinking that. Bathroom reading. Where's the adjacent bathroom going to be? Oh my gosh, I don't know. But that's a valid question, right? It's a valid question. It feels like a giant grift, probably because it is. Ballroom's going to be at the Capitol, not the White House. Well, I think it's going to be part of the White House, right? But for me, I put everything into the Capitol. So that's my bad, if you want to be more specific. Driving us to depression. No! Tomorrow, meeting for a photo. Big, beautiful bathroom. No! All right. So with that, we still have a little bit of time. I still have a little bit of time left on my meter for my voice. So we can kind of get started. Would we like to start going through the Loomer case against Bill Meyer? Or do you want to go through the National Peace Officers Memorial Service with Mr. Trump here? We're stuck in a bad movie. Yeah, I agree. And when you're in a bad movie, what do? You focus on the popcorn. Loomer. Okay. Whoa, everybody's like, give us the Loomer. All right, here we go. Let's take a peek here. Let's take a little look-see and see what's going on. Looney, that's funny. Oh my gosh. All right, so this will be part 2 tonight. Part 2 coming up. All right, so this is a Loomer here, 2 O's. That looks like Lodmer. No more 47. All right, Laura Loomer, right, versus Bill. So this Miss Loomer's a little different. I was unfamiliar. I mean, her face was familiar, but the name wasn't as familiar. So this has been a very interesting road to go down. Okay, lawsuit, here's the number. And it's 524 CV-00625. All right, for anyone who's interested, and it was filed. Well, this document, the plaintiff's objection to magistrate judge's protective order here. Let's make sure we have this right. It's 1 out of 288 pages. So we'll just say 731 here. Looks like fascist Barbie. Oh my gosh. All right. Here we go. Arby's wants a word. Excuse me, ma'am. Arby's would like to have a word with you. Thanks. And she'd be like, is it free cheese sauce? Because if it's not, I got other stuff to do. Like laundry. All right. About Arby's. That's funny. Protect your FYPs, everybody. Protect them. Oh, all right, all right. So here we go. I'm just going to skip through these first pieces because we got to get to that deposition. All right, we've got Loomer versus Mayor here. Plaintiff's objection to Magistrate Judge Philip R. Lemenz's protective order. Now, of course, magistrate judges can grant protective orders. That's one of their primary pieces, as well as signing search warrants. So they have a full, they've got responsibilities here. Full hearing oral arguments respectfully necessary before the presiding judge, Judge Moody, on these issues, as plaintiff has yet to be afforded the opportunity to address Judge Moody directly on these matters, because you don't do that in court. So you don't do that in court. And it's every single defendant, I tell you, that does not understand how the system works. Every single defendant will say, well, if I just talk to the judge, it'll get sorted out. Well, no, that's not how it works. So she's not been afforded an opportunity to address the judge, and she won't be, because if you address the judge, then the federal government is also going to be there listening. But when we're in a civil suit like this, you have two parties listening. March the pen. Yes, this is off of my, I found this in Etsy. Hold on, I used to have a little card over here that explained what the shop was. Hold on here. No, I don't know where. It's online. Hold on, side quest, everybody. Just 1 minute. Thing is, with this, oh, was that it? Nope, that was the jewelry. Who has it here? Magical pen. OVC, are you there? Are you saving me? Oh my gosh. Oh, right. Okay, thank you. Thanks, VC. Let me just make sure here. Julia Roblin, Etsy, Maggie One. Oh, thank you so much. I appreciate that. Yeah, I have a little card. Now, she's just great. She does amazing work. I have so many of these, and they're just perfect. I'm not going to take too much time going into the wands because I got into trouble big time last time. So I see you all waiting for the comments to make me feel embarrassed. But we're not going to do that. Here's a little bit here. So she makes these amazing pens. For me, it's easier if the pens are longer. So I need kind of a longer pen when I'm doing all of my recording here. So I was looking and found her. Yeah, I mean, they're really interesting. The veiny wands are amazing. All right, listen, everybody. I'm not going to do it tonight. I'm not going to do it. We're putting those away. We're not going to talk about the short, stubby ones versus the long, weedy ones. We are not doing that. Oh, all right, here we go. So plaintiff previously moved to have discovery-related issues referred back to Judge Moody. So we're going to skip through this here because we've got legal arguments and stuff, but we're here for the exhibits. So, ding dong, here for the exhibits. So let's take a look here. We've got United States District Court for the Middle District of Florida. Loomer here. We have a videotaped deposition of Laura Loomer. It took place on Wednesday of June 4th. And the location here. And here's the reporter. Let's see. Pages then, and they list out some that are confidential. So that's fine. We do have appearances here. And down here. So, whoa, look at all these exhibits, everybody. We've got, oh my gosh, we could go through these exhibits. That would be really interesting. But we have a whole bunch of tweets going on. We've got photos going on. We've got news articles, which didn't used to be a thing, but they are now. And then all of these other tweets and comments made. Like, oh, look, there's Kamala's got one in there. So documents have been requested as well. So that's called request for production of documents. Now we've got the proceedings set out here, And so let's just read the first few pages here, all right? I've not highlighted the exact location of the roast beef sandwiches, which, so we'll just have to kind of play it by ear. Okay, videographer, good morning. We're going on the record on June 4th. Oh, that's right. On June 4th, and the time on the video monitor is 10:11 a.m. This is media unit number 1 of the video recorded deposition of Laura Loomer. This is the matter of Laura Loomer versus Bill Mayer and Home Box Office, Inc. This is in the United States District Court for the Middle District of Florida. Here's the case number here, right in here. The location of this deposition is here. My name is David Campbell, representing Veritex, and I'm the videographer. The court reporter today is Samuel. Also with Veritex counsel, will you please identify yourselves for the record? Here, so Larry Clayman of the Clayman Law Group on behalf of Laura Loomer. Catherine Bolger from the law firm on behalf of the Home Box Office. All right, the reporter, Miss Loomer, please raise your right hand, whereupon. And Laura Loomer then called as a witness, and having been first duly sworn to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, was examined and testified as follows. So here we go. You may proceed. Yes, I just want to put this on the record that with the exception of income tax materials, which were provided to you, this deposition will be on the public record. We're not claiming any confidentiality in that regard, so I would respectfully request the court reporter, if he gets into tax information, have a separate transcript for that, as well as going on a separate video for that. But everything's public. We're not claiming confidentiality. All right. Setting it up. So here's our examination. So Miss Bolger here. Miss Loomer, we've met before, but my name is Kate Bolger, as you know, and I represent the defendants in this case. Have you ever been deposed before? Yes. And when were you deposed? I believe it was last year. I think it was last March. And it was for I believe, a malpractice case. Ooh, that's a rough start. Okay, and were you a party that brought the litigation? Yes, I filed a malpractice case. And who did you file a malpractice case against? Against a former lawyer, Ron Coleman, who at one point represented me in a lawsuit I filed against CARE, the Council on American Islamic Relations. Okay, and has that litigation come to conclusion? No, it has not. What is the status if you know? I believe just a few days ago their motion to dismiss was struck down and it's about to proceed to trial. Oh, everybody keep your eyes open for that, all right? Apparently that's going to trial. Okay, have you been deposed in any other litigation other than that one? No. Great. Well, let me give you some ground rules before we go. Obviously, I ask you questions, you give answers. We should try to not talk over each other. And if you can please remember to use oral responses rather than nodding your head or shaking your head. That's easier for the reporter. Okay, I do tend to talk quickly. It's just how I talk. If it's too quick, just say to me, hey, you're going too quickly, and I will try to slow it down. If you're confused by a question, you can ask me and I'll restate it for you. Mr. Clayman may, from time to time, object to a question. That means he doesn't like the form of the question, or he has some problem with the question. But if you can still answer unless Mr. Clayman directly instructs you not to answer the question. Does that all make sense to you? Yes. Okay. Did you do anything to prepare for this deposition? Yes. What did you do? I reviewed my case, reviewed all of the filings in the lawsuit, and conversations with my lawyer. Okay, and your lawyer being Mr. Clayman in this case? Yes. How long did you meet with Mr. Clayman? We met this morning, just a couple hours. Met yesterday just to review ground rules for the deposition, and this morning at breakfast. Okay, so about how many hours do you think that was? It was probably with breaks and everything in between. And of course, it wasn't the only thing we discussed because he's, my lawyer in my other litigation as well. I'd say probably about 5 hours. Okay. Did you look at any documents? Yes, I reviewed the complaint. Okay. Did you talk to anyone else at all about the deposition today? I mean, it's public, right? So people know that I have a deposition today. But I only spoke with my attorney about the details of my deposition. But it is public. It's in the media. It's been widely publicized. By whom was it widely publicized? The media. People know that there's a deposition. It's a high-profile case. And I also, given the fact that, I'm a journalist, and this takes me away from my work as a journalist, I let everybody know that I would be offline today because I have a deposition. And how did you let everybody know that? On my X account. You didn't quite answer my question, which was, did you talk to anyone about this deposition? So would you answer that question? Objection. Have you had any conversation with anyone else about this deposition? Objection. Relevancy. Not a valid question. You may answer, Mr. Clayman, well, that's not for you to decide. Witness again, I've only spoken to my attorney about the deposition, but as I said before, I followed by millions of people online, and there are millions of people who know that I have this deposition today. Oh my gosh, everybody, it's going to be a rough ride. All right. You were at the White House yesterday, right? Yes. Okay. Who did you speak to at the White House? I had a meeting with Vice President J.D. Vance. Did you speak to anybody else at the White House? Just security and his staff. Okay. Did you mention to J.D. Vance that you were being deposed today? Objection. Relevancy. I'm not going to discuss my conversations. I think it's inappropriate to discuss my conversations, but no, I did not talk about my deposition. Did you talk about the lawsuit with Mr. Vance yesterday? No, I did not. Did you talk about my law firm with Mr. Vance yesterday? No, I did not. Did you talk to anybody at security about this deposition? No, I did not. Did you talk to anybody in Mr. Vance's staff about this deposition today? No, I did not. Same continuing objection with relevancy. Did you talk to anybody, Mr. Vance's staff, about the lawsuit? No, I did not, but obviously because it's this widely publicized case that the media has reported on, given your client's defamation of me and the fact that he's well known, Mr. Orange Hater, it is well known that this lawsuit is ongoing. And so it's not unreasonable that many people, including members of the White House, are probably aware of the lawsuit. Oh, what's your basis for believing that members of the White House are aware of this lawsuit? Because it's been reported by many media outlets. Have you spoken to anybody in the White House about the lawsuit? No. Have you spoken to any staff member of anybody in the White House about this lawsuit? Not about the lawsuit, but again, staff of the White House are aware that the lawsuit's ongoing. How do you know that? Because it directly relates to President Mr. Orange. And so I'm confident that his staff would be aware of high-profile lawsuit involving one of his bigger critics who falsely accused me of having sex with the President of the United States, which is also falsely accusing the President of committing adultery against his wife, our First Lady. Boy, goodness. So I'm confused because you're certain that the White House is aware of this, but you claim you haven't spoken to anybody. Can you please, of anybody at the White House staff? Well, it's my objection. Wait. I'm not done asking my question. All right, it's just wait. I'm not done asking my question. I get to ask my question. There's more than one question. It's compound. My gosh, these attorneys. She's actually doing a really good job by going one step at a time to keep the record clean here. I'm confused. What you're testifying is that you don't know you've spoken to anybody else about this, but you're sure they're aware. Well, it's my best belief, and I'm asking you. It's my best belief, Miss Loomer. I'm answering your question. No, you're not. It's my best belief that people, Miss Loomer, the way this is going to work going forward. One at a time, please, says the reporter. I'm going to ask a question. You're going to wait for me to finish it. Yeah, and then I'm going to hear your answer. Yeah, That's how this works. I answered your question. You don't like my answer. So I'm going to do it again. Go ahead. Oh my gosh. Oh dear. 15. That was 16. Now we're into 17. And you're going to respond. Go ahead. And I request you have testified that, yes, she just ignored the opposing counsel. That was funny. Yes, you didn't talk to anybody in the White House, but you're certain they know about it. How do you reconcile those two things? If you haven't spoken to anybody about the case. Okay, that's 4 questions. Compound question, inappropriate question, and please don't badger my witness. You're being very aggressive, more than aggressive. You're being, frankly, disrespectful. Miss Loomer, please answer the question. I suppose I can't read their mind, but, given the fact that the president has a, very active communications team that monitors all news headlines about Mr. Orange, it's my best belief that they are aware of the fact that this lawsuit's ongoing, are likely aware I have this deposition today. I mean, it's widely reported. You said, and I posted it on my social media, and most of the president's staff follow me on there. Oh my goodness gracious. You have said this deposition was well publicized. It was well publicized by you, correctly? Correct? I have a right to defend myself, and I have a right to fight back against Bill Mayer's misogynistic and malicious comments about me that were obviously defamatory. He falsely accused me of having sex with the president, and as a result, I've been subjected to a lot of harassment. It might not just be because of this. I'm just going to put that out there. It threatens my safety, and so I publicized the fact that I'm suing Bill Mayer and his enabler, HBO, and I have a right to do that. You said you publicized it on X, is that right? Yes, that's my social media. And when you publicized it this time, did you put a link to your Give, Send, Go? Yeah, of course. I'm not a millionaire like Bill Mayer. I'm not worth billions of dollars like HBO, and my tax records prove that, which you have. There's no confidential, of course. She's upset about the tax records, everybody. And I'm not rich. I'm not ashamed that I'm not rich. I'm not a wealthy woman, and I have a lot of supporters. And people know in this country that there's lawfare. Weaponized lawfare is what your law firm specializes in. You represent the biggest Mr. Orange haters. You recently had to settle with President Mr. Orange. You represented George Stephanopoulos in a defamation case. You falsely accused the president of being a essayer, I believe, right? That's your firm. Me? Well, I'm sorry. Me? Well, your firm represented George Stephanopoulos, and you guys had to settle, which surely you had to give the president $15 million to his presidential library because you advertised that you actually go out of your way. Your law firm solicits Mr. Orange haters and Democrats who spread lies about the president, including the Steele dossier. Oh my God, the Steele dossier, everybody. It's coming back. Making a comeback. Which was a lie paid for by Mr. Orange's opposition. Lies that he did something criminal. You represent CNN, which has also spread lies about Mr. Orange, lies about me. And so, of course, I have a right to defend myself, and I have every right to post a link to my Give, Send, Go to ask my supporters to help me cover the cost of this very expensive litigation. So, Ms. Loomer, my question that got that speech was actually, did you post a Give, Send, Go link, which is a yes or no question? Yes, I posted it. So it's fine that you get to answer the questions however you want. But just so you know, if you continue to answer the questions in a way time and time again, I will bring you back for a second day of depositions. Well, because that wastes my time. That's not for you to decide, Miss Bulger. You have 7 hours. My next question, what's your email? You have 7 hours. Stop for a second. What is your one at a time, please? Yeah, stop for a second. Oh my God, this attorney, goodness gracious. Let me make sure here I'm in the right spot. 18. Okay, I want to object to badgering the witness. Okay, to the arrogance and belligerency here. There's no pending, I'm sorry, which voice was it, everybody? There's no pending questions. There's no pending question. And you do not have the right to make a decision whether she comes back or not. There's no pending question. The judge will, yes. And I'm asking you, Miss Loomer, what's your email address? I'm asking you, wait a second, I'm not done. What is your, yes, you, yes, you are. I'm asking you, what is your email address, Miss Loomer? I'm not done. Well, Miss Loomer, what's your email address? Well, I'm not going to dox myself publicly. This is there to be some kind of protection so that I don't get publicly harassed. Your lawyer just gave a whole speech about how this was going to be public. But if you like, I agree to keep this confidential. We'll give you the... So what's your email address? Wait a second here. I will give that to you. There's no reason she can't answer my question. I'll keep it confidential. What's your email address? No, I'm not going to put this on the public record here. We'll have I agree with you. It doesn't have to go public on the public record. We'll have a separate record. Okay? It doesn't have to go on the public record. All right, fine. What's your email address? Oh, my goodness. Not here. We're going to have a separate... No. You're answering the question. No, don't answer. Don't answer that, okay? Don't answer. I'm sorry, you're actually instructing the witness not to answer? Correct. The question, what is your email address? Correct. After I've agreed to keep it confidential? No, what I said was, I've agreed to keep it confidential. Let me talk, Miss Bulger. What's your email address? Let me talk, all right. Don't be rude to me like you were in the last deposition. Oh, dear. I think we've got some anger here. Don't yell at me, Mr. Clayman. I'm not yelling at you. You're yelling at my client, okay? Don't yell at me, Mr. Clayman. You can ask all the questions. That will be a separate record that you can ask. Just keep them and we'll answer those questions I want the answer now and we'll keep confidential record. No. If confidential, you're not going to mess up this record. What's your email address? No, do not answer. Mr. Clayman, you're instructing the witness? No. Not to answer what her email is? I said to you, I don't want apples and oranges here. We can go in a separate record. You don't get to decide this. This is my record. What is your email address, Miss Loomer? No, don't answer her. Okay, I'll take that to the judge. Please do. Is it your general practice to be truthful when you send emails? Yes. What's your telephone number? Same thing. That will be on a separate record if you want to ask her. It will not. This is my deposition. All right, don't answer that. Okay, I will tell the judge that you will not allow me to get this basic information about a plaintiff who chose to bring a lawsuit in federal court. And you have been grandstanding about how this is public, Mr. Clayman. And that will be a lie, okay? Because we said we'll go in a separate record. We'll break it up. Do you send text messages, Miss Loomer? Stop. We will go on a separate record. Do you send text messages, Miss Loomer? Yes, I text. Okay, did you send a text on your phone? Yes. Do you use Facebook Messenger? No, I don't have a Facebook account. Is it because you were banned? Yes. Do you use Signal? Oh, dear. I'm a journalist occasionally. Okay. Do you use WhatsApp occasionally? Do you instant message people on X? It's called DM, but yes. Thanks for the correction. How do you communicate with Mr. Orange? Well, sometimes some of his staff will relay messages. How do you relay those messages? They'll call me. Sometimes there's been several times that the president has called me from the phone of his staff. He has had his staff call me. The president does not use email. I do not use email for the president. Do you text him? I text with his staff. What app do you use to text with his staff? I just use regular text. How many times have you spoken to the president on the phone? Numerous times. Indefinite is the time. Objection. How many times have you spoken to the president on the phone? I don't know. I mean, I've known the president several years, so I would say, several times. Objection on relevancy. Continuing objections as well. Many times. Sorry, many times. Oh, what is many times? Would you say more than 100? No. Would you say more than 50? Same objection. Continuing relevancy. No, not more than 50. Okay, about 50 perhaps, but definitely not more than that. Like I said, I communicate mostly with staff, or have. It's mostly staff. Oh my goodness. Okay, so you said that I just want to make sure I'm getting this right. You said that sometimes the staff calls you and sometimes don't say it, please don't say it, because then we're going to be in a whole world of hurt, everybody. President calls you through his staff, is that correct? Yeah, it's the President of the United States, just going to be, calling people. Like, communications are protected when you're the president. And so for national security purposes, for, purposes of protecting people's communication devices. And so, the way it works, if he has someone call you, generally, they call on like a staff phone or designated phone, and it's the president. So you said you've spoken to the president about 50 times. Is that separate from conversations you've had with the president's staff? Objection. Testimony speaks for itself. I'm not sure about this particular objection, everybody. I'm not sure which rule of evidence he would be using here. I didn't finish my question. I thought you did. Is it separate for you? You said you spoke to the president about 50 times. Is that separate from conversations you've had with the president's staff? Objection, relevancy. Continuing. I wouldn't say that it's been 50 direct conversations with the president. You asked how those communications take place. And sometimes they take place through the staff, and so it's a combination. Okay, how many times have you texted with the president's staff? Probably the same number, probably the same amount. So an additional 50 times. Yeah, I would say so. I mean, these are people that I've known for, several years. When did you? I've been involved in conservative media and conservative politics for about 12 years. And so I've known a lot of the staff. What social media accounts do you use? Well, it's widely publicized that I've been banned on social media for speaking the truth and for supporting the president. And everybody knows that there's, coordinated censorship against the president and his supporters. And with that, my friends, I will go ahead and stop at this point. So this is, wow, this is a rough situation here. If you're calling a deposition in and opposing counsel is like talking to you like that, there's going to be some trouble. Trouble in River City, everybody. Trouble in River City. But that's her job. That's the attorney's job for the defense, right? Her job is to go in and find the information out and also catch the information that's incorrect. So that's how she does it. Thanks, John. Standing ovation. Oh, thanks. It is harder to understand the conversations, I think, in transcripts unless you have some kind of a break in between it. So, yes. So, everybody, I will, be back again. I'll be back again to finish or continue on with this. Oh, thank you so much. Continue on with this. And again, I'm telling you, everybody, these speeches, oh, yes. So we love this for us, that we found these. These are gems. So I've got a couple of bits of those. Now, don't worry, I'm definitely keeping my eyes on the closet docket and updating it regularly. But again, sometimes we need a little break from all that madness. See you later, Amanda's live. Well, we'll see, Apollo. I don't know, everybody. I feel like I've been kind of bogarting the lives lately. I might just hang out in the chat instead. I love your sound effects. Well, I do my best. I do my best. And we did have one wardrobe malfunction, but I think it came together. Okay. So with that, my friends, thank you all for coming and joining me. I've been a bit worried actually over here on the talk because my numbers have been super, super low just of the views. And I've been like, I don't know if it's making it out to FYP. So if you see something that you really like in a video, like, share, I guess all that stuff that I'm supposed to say, just to kind of push back into the FYP page, if you don't mind. So have a great night. And I will see you all. Yeah, you're not getting notifications. I know. A lot of people are saying that. So, but I will be back again very soon. Take care of yourselves, everyone.